All right, I want to do a quick walkthrough of the difference between Facebook and Google, especially when it comes to paid advertising. Why would we do them? And when does it make sense to do each? And then lastly, kind of what's the sales process for each of them? So you have a better understanding just of the digital marketing landscape of what's important to be using in your business and what maybe not to be having in your business. So I'm going to walk through this. This is in reference to physical therapy clinics. So this, if somehow you watch this video and you're running an e-commerce store, this probably isn't going to be as relevant. So this is for physical therapy clinics, probably could apply to a lot of local brick and mortar practices as well. So I'm going to pull up my screen here. We're going to go through notes and we're just going to kind of talk through what do we have here? So let's go through, we're just going to divide this into two sections. We're going to have Google. Then on the other side, we're going to have Facebook. Hopefully you can see this. Cool. Looks like we got it here. So there are two separate things that we want to look at with Google versus Facebook. People that are on Google that are searching for, on Google, they have what we call high intent, meaning they're actively searching for solutions to their problems. So they're actively seeking, they have a problem, they're typing in keywords into Google to search for a problem. So they have high intent, in the way that they demonstrate their intent, they demonstrate intent through keywords. So typing in keywords. So when you and I have a problem, if I have back pain, I type in how to fix my back pain, right? Back pain being the keywords, or fix back pain being the keywords that we use with Google. Now, what's really cool about Google is because they have high intent, they tend to be a little bit more motivated and urgent, right? And urgency kind of plays into motivated. You don't have to be you don't have to have urgency to be motivated, but a lot of these, it's like, I have this problem and it's happening right now. And they're seeking out a solution. They're looking and kind of doing their research. They also tend to do a little more research, right? So they will plus educated on their issue because they're doing a lot of searching and reading. So all of this comes to this person on Google tends to be, in general, it's not always the case, but tends to be a higher quality lead, right? Now, in exchange for this being a high quality lead, it tends to be more expensive to get this lead. It doesn't have to be. Again, this is more general than like definite by any means, but they're a higher quality lead. And the other thing I would say is it's not always the case, but because a part of this comes from also increased competition. So Google's been around longer than Facebook with their advertising. So there are more people advertising locally for, I don't know if more, but there are a lot more people over time that have been advertising on Google. So there's a little bit of increased competition, especially for high ranking keywords like back pain, physical therapy near me, physical therapy, those kinds of things. So this is just in general about Google. When I say quality lead and it costs more, this is talking about advertising. So Google at times is called PPC, meaning pay per click. And this is the Google model. And what we're going to do, how Google Ads works is if we were, let's say this is a Google page and, you have your like little search bar there. You're going to have website one pop up here. So let's say someone types in physical, it's terrible handwriting there, therapy near me. So if they do that, Google's going to use what's called search engine optimization. It's going to look through your records based on reviews and all these things of how do you have a domain score for Google and where do you pop up on page rank. So for physical therapy near me, you might be on the 25th page of Google. Nobody's going to see it, right? So just for context, I think everyone's aware of how Google works when you search for something, right? So then there's website 2, and then there'd be, number 2, and then there'd be number 3 down here, But there is a space up here. Oops. there's a little space right up here that they reserve for ads, right? And what you're going to do, why we use Google Ads, is we look for very specific keywords and we place an ad in front of, at the top of the first page of Google. That's the powerful thing of an ad. So whereas somebody might rank number one, we could pay, let's say, $5 a click to end up at the top of the first page of Google. So hopefully that part makes sense of how this works. It's an auction, so you're trying to bid per keyword to get to the top. I would just say in general, some rough numbers on Google. It's not totally accurate, but let's just say you spent $20 a day on Google. So just to give you an idea, $20 a day on Google, which would be equals, $600 a month. I think you can expect anywhere from 3 to 5 leads for sure. So you're paying something like, oh goodness, math, 200 to, or sorry, a little over 120 to $200 a lead. Now, the difference here, the good thing of these though, is that because they're high quality, they tend to convert pretty well once they come in. Not always, but they tend to. So that's just like an average kind of typical number we might see for Google. Some places can get you better, depends on your region and your area. So this is a cool thing. The other thing about this is we don't typically need to make an offer. We take them to a contact form and they fill out the contact form and you have a discovery visit with them. So increased conversion is what we'll say. I meant to write here. Cool. So this is a landscape of Google. Hopefully that helps. So Facebook, right? Facebook, the difference is we have zero intent, meaning no one is going on to Facebook trying to figure out how to solve their back pain if they have back pain. So what we have to do is we have to disrupt with irresistible offer. We have to give someone a reason to go, whoa, hang on, what was that? And this is why we tend to run paid assessment ads. So something like, $67 for back pain assessment. So what we're going to do is target people for this back pain assessment. We do golf assessment, neck pain, pelvic floor, postpartum, running assessments. Those tend to work really well. So we're disrupting them. So you need to think about in the sales process, they didn't initially seek out help. They were disrupted by an ad on Facebook or Instagram that goes, hey, are you having back pain? You want help with it? Whoa, hey, actually good timing. Maybe I'll check this out. And they opt in and they give us their name, email, and phone number. So they're doing less research, right? Less educated in the sense of doing like their own, on their own issue maybe. This isn't true. This isn't like a definitive thing. This is compared to the Google person. So this isn't anything about their actual education level. It's just educated on their issue, and then usually decreased motivation. So when I say decrease, I don't mean they're not motivated, they're not doing research, and they're not educated, meaning compared to the people on Google, they're doing less research, doing less educating themselves on the issue, and less motivation to take action right away. Which is why we give them an offer that's irresistible to improve their motivation to want to do something about it quickly, right? So in general, we see that there is a lower quality lead on Facebook. Lower quality lead. However, it doesn't cost us nearly as much to get these leads, right? And typically there is less competition, so less competition, right? So what someone's going to do is we're just paying to put our ad on Facebook. So you're just going to see like, right, this is a Facebook feed. You're going to see your friend like with their little picture here. You have a little picture in there, and then right, post. It's hardly a post, but then like another person, right, and then you're going to see ad, right? Ad pops right up here, and that's the Facebook, and your ad's going to pop up right there. the cool thing is we can target this and you can spend really not a ton of money. And so I want to show you, what does this look like for Facebook and what we expect to see. So if you were to spend 20 bucks a day on Facebook, which would be, again, 600 a month. If you're running ads for like anywhere from $47 to $77 assessment type, I would expect that for 600 bucks, you would get anywhere from 20 to 30 leads, which equals something like $20 to $30 leads. Is my math right? 3 times 20. Yep. So $20 to $30 per lead. And they're a little bit harder to sell, so maybe less conversions, right? But overall, here's the cool thing. Let's say if we do the math, let's say that you have a plan of care. Let's say on average, like a new patient equals $1,500 for your clinic, right? How both of these are really powerful is we're going to take the example of Google and we're going to say you get 3 to 5 leads. We're going to say you get 5 leads. 5 leads. And we're going to say you close at 60%. I think that's a fair closing rate, and usually pretty good. So we're going to say 3 plans of care. That equals $4,500. To get 4,500 minus your 600 in ad spend, right? You get a net profit of 3,900 bucks in this scenario. Cool. And if we do Facebook, let's say we get, so we're going to go high end again, 30 leads. Let's say you close, now these are harder to close. So we're going to say you close at 20%, right? So let's say you close at 20%. So 10% is 3. So you'd have 6 plans of care. Now, let's also say that you are selling your services. So that's going to be, let's see, so that's going to equal 6 POC equals 1,500 times 6 is 6,000 plus 3,000, so $9,000. Now let's also remember that these, all 6 of these also paid for an assessment at, let's just say the low end, $47. That's 6 times, we're going to say 50 bucks. Let's just say 50 bucks. So that'd be 300 bucks plus 300 bucks in assessments. And then minus, the 600 in ads. Right, so total, we end up coming up with 9,000. Let's see, 9,300 minus 600 is 8,700. So the cool thing is they both work, right? Now you're like, okay, we'll definitely do Facebook then, right? It just depends on where you're at. If you're like, hey, I'm busy, I just need quality leads, and I don't need a ton of new patients, Google Ads can be a really great place to go because you only have to follow up with 5 leads. Whereas with Facebook, you got to follow up with all 30 of these leads. But if you need volume and opportunity for people to fill schedules, then this is where Facebook would come into play in this format. So I hope this helps, right? So again, the whole process here of both of these is, if we map this out, goes ad wherever we're at, placing an ad on Google or Facebook. We're going to get lead info. And this is either going to be, if Google, a contact form on your website, or on Facebook, a Facebook lead form, or to a landing page form. So we're going to get their lead info. We're going to call. We're going to text. We're going to email these leads, and we're moving them to, And we're moving them to either one or two things. So we're either moving them to, actually, we're moving them to trying to get them on the phone. That's the next step of our process. We're trying to get them on the phone. And then if they came in through Facebook, we're trying to book paid assessment. If they come in through Google, we are trying to book discovery session. Now, I would still probably try to move them into a paid visit, but you know, these are the two things. So this would be, this one would be Facebook, and then this one would be Google. Again, at the end of the day, both of these can work and they can work well. What happens is a lot of people say, well, Facebook is terrible leads. I have a terrible experience. To be honest, usually it's the follow-up problem. So that's why we do use something like Go High Level to do automated text follow-up for people. And you got to call these people 5 or 6 times, which drives a lot of places crazy. Whereas Google, typically they're a little more motivated. You don't have to make as many phone calls, but to get the volume of leads from Google would require significantly more spend usually than it would on Facebook. So I hope this helps break down sort of the digital landscape of Google ads versus Facebook ads. And by the way, Facebook owns Instagram. So when I say Facebook, I mean Facebook and Instagram ads. But this is the sales process. Everything that we want to look at here at the very end that matters is, all that matters, the golden metrics are, did I put in, how much did I put in here? And at the end of the day, after I collect all of this from the people that come in, how much more did I make coming out here on the other end than I put in? That's all we're looking for. And if the answer is 3 to X, so, and then if there's an ugly arrow, then we're going to go da, 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 da. If greater than or equal to 3X ROI, put more money into here. You are going to increase until this becomes less than 3X ROI, and then you need to change something. I hope this helps. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. And this is the difference between Google and Facebook ads.